Welcome to Second Edition. On today's show, we touch base on the new curriculum changes made in Alberta.
And later, we'll see what the Taste of Edmonton has in store for you this summer.
Plus, be sure to stick around to see the proper way to wash a cow. All that and more coming up. We start off today with Nate welcoming 4 new trade diploma programs starting next fall. Students interested in the line of trades now have the opportunity to apply for advanced plumbing technology, advanced welding technology, automotive service technology, and electrical installation technology. Todd Matsuba, Associate Dean of Skilled Trades at NAIT, believes that these programs will help assist students in their journey to find apprenticeships.
Competitive. It's become much more competitive out in industry to find your first opportunity to enter apprenticeship. And we believe that these programs will help the graduates find those chosen career paths.
Application for these programs are now open on NAIT's website. The City of Edmonton is starting to increase the amount of security on transit due to the rise in crime complaints. Transit peace officers and security guards have been added to the full-time proactive monitoring of transit stations. The city is basing these additional policings off of the data analytics collected by the department.
So the proactive piece, we identify trends through our data analytics, which is a predictive analytics tool that allows us to deploy to areas that are trending up in numbers and problems, and it allows us to deploy to them proactively and kind of predict when crime or nuisance or behaviors will occur.
Due to the pandemic, there has been a 60% decrease in ridership, and the city hopes that this added security will make those who take transit a little more comfortable. Edmonton police say the pandemic is directly linked to the spike in domestic violence cases. There were more than 9,500 reported victims in 2020, which is an increase of over 1,100 cases from 2019. 34 of those victims stepped forward saying a gun was used against them. 155 were attacked by knives, and 35 were assaulted with burning liquids, chemicals, or acids, all of which are a significant increase from 2019. Shelters having limited space due to the COVID has played a massive role in the increase of domestic violence.
There's some challenges, particularly with the women's shelters, making sure that people are safe from COVID, and so there are capacity issues there.
Edmonton police say if you know of anyone dealing with domestic violence, to call 911 immediately. Alberta's new curriculum has brought lots of controversy to elementary school learning. Edmontonians made their way to the legislature in protest of these new changes.
This curriculum is not gonna make us strong.
The protest is to vocalize the issues within the new curriculum, such as the demand that children learn university-level topics. Protesters hope that the UCP will hear this cry for a better curriculum because teachers are worried their students will have a difficulty grasping on to the new concepts.
Kids need to be interested and engaged in what they're learning and see themselves in education and in the curriculum. And what we have right now is a huge list of information that is not relevant to the average 7-year-old.
The protest is running from April 1st to the 8th. With these new curriculum changes comes different opinions.
Our Nicole Gruber sat down with a local teacher to go more in-depth about what this might mean for the students and their instructors.
Thanks, you guys. With the proposed curriculum for K-9 grades causing a stir with local Albertans, I'm joined here with a local teacher to talk about her thoughts on the proposed changes.
So my first question for you is, what are your thoughts on the proposed curriculum changes?
I for sure have some concerns, and I know lots of other people do as well, just about how age appropriate lots of the things in the curriculum are, and lots of people are saying, and I agree with it too, that it's kind of taking us backwards instead of forwards. So kids in grade 2 are learning things that just aren't really appropriate for grade 2 level, and lots of the grades and curriculums for different subjects are set up so there's too much to cover in a year as well, which would cause lots of problems for teachers and for the students, because you're focusing now on memorization and just trying to get as much done as fast as possible to make sure you cover everything, but then there isn't as much depth and as much deeper understanding from the students. So those are some of the main concerns that I have and that I've heard from other people too.
What are your thoughts on adding such big topics to the younger grades?
I mean, for me, I currently teach the Silk Road in my middle school. So for those students, I have students that struggle with that concept even in grade 8, right? So bringing that to grade 2, that's tough for a lot of them to understand. And I know a lot of people, their main concerns are surrounding the social studies curriculum because some of those larger topics are so hard to comprehend already in the higher grades. So bringing that down to grade 2 when they're still trying to figure out like what being a citizen is and what a city is, it's just too much for them to be able to understand.
Or is there anything else you would like to add?
I think just making sure that everyone kind of looks into it, and because it affects everyone and all the kids that are going to school. So just make sure to be aware and check it out and form your own opinion on it as well.
Thank you so much for your time. With Second Edition News, I'm Nicole Gruber.
Edmonton's festival season is fast approaching, and one of its tastiest offerings plans on coming back in a big way.
With more on how the Taste of Edmonton will look this year, here's our Blake Fisher.
Thanks, Emma. Taste of Edmonton is one of our city's biggest festivals. After being canceled last year, it's coming back with a few changes. To find out what those changes are and how they plan on keeping the event safe, I'm here with Taste of Edmonton's marketing manager, Leanna Santos. Leanna, what changes are being made this year to accommodate COVID?
What we did was we submitted a site plan to the City of Edmonton, and we're actually going to have the largest site plan in Taste of Edmonton history. So that's going to accommodate lots of physical distancing. It's going to be a large site plan. Of course, we're going to have the limited capacity, and also there's going to be like hand washing stations, hand sanitizing stations. There's going to be 6-foot spaces in between the restaurant booths and food trucks. Adjustments to the queues and waitings in the lines, as well as signage to remind guests of how to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Where's the festival taking place this year?
It's going to be back at Churchill Square.
How many participating restaurants are there this year compared to previous years?
This year we did have to downsize slightly due to allow the physical distancing aspect of the festival. There's going to be 34 restaurants, 12 food trucks, 7 beverage and dessert booths, 2 Canada Dry beverage centers, and Canadian Brew House Lounge.
Do you think attendance and interest in the festival will be affected by COVID?
I think with, people being at home and kind of cooped up for so long, they're going to want to get out there and have something to do for the summer. So we're doing the best that we can by working with the City of Edmonton and AHS to make sure that we comply with all the rules and make it the safest festival possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, Blake.
I'm Blake Fisher, Second Edition.
Getting back into the swing of things, the City of Edmonton gets ready to open up Victoria, Riverside, and Rundle Park golf courses.
With more on the story, we send it over to Second Edition's Marco Madron.
With the weather on par, the City of Edmonton is getting ready to tee up against COVID-19, and I got to speak with Angie Blades to see what that process is looking like.
So my first question is, what preparations is the city taking when approaching the opening of the golf courses?
And preparations like operationally, or preparations in terms of like marketing and social media, or
preparations for COVID?
Oh, for COVID. Yeah, we obviously learned a lot from last year. When we do open up the golf courses, we'll open it up with a host. So that host will remind people that unless they're eating food and beverage, they're not to arrive or come up to the clubhouse prior to 15 minutes before their tee time. And just make sure that no one's kind of congregating as a group.
Is COVID going to affect the rental system?
Yeah, I mean, last year we were pretty good. Obviously, with more people using individual carts, there's more carts that go out. We didn't have too much of an issue with it, but on Saturdays and Sundays, the turnaround can be quite tight. Another thing we do is we make sure that there is only people in the same household per cart. So we are offering single riders at this time, just in case you get paired with somebody, so that you do have your own cart. And then the other mitigation measures that we do are we sanitize the cart after each use. So when the cart comes off the course, it goes to kind of a separate location. It gets staged there, it gets sanitized, wiped down and cleaned. And then it'll go back out for use so that every cart you have has been sanitized to the highest degrees. But also just encouraging people to walk as well, which would be great because our courses are quite flat and easy to walk, especially at Rendell this year. So encouraging people to walk and get out and get that exercise would be good as well, I think.
Thank you so much again for doing this.
Yeah, no worries, Marco.
The golf courses are set to open mid-April, but you can still go to the driving range to get your practice swings in. I'm Marco Madron, 2nd Edition News.
After the break, we'll check in on how the Edmonton Oil Kings are doing.
And our very own Owen Monday shows you the 3 easiest foods that university and college students can try on a budget.
I'm excited to see what he comes up with. That and a whole lot more coming up after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to 2nd Edition. The Oil Kings continue to be the cream of the crop in the shortened WHL season.
And Alberta Soccer brings in a new partnership with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Our Brandon Demaray joins us live in the studio with sports.
Thank you. Pandemic or no pandemic, the Edmonton Oil Kings have been red hot this season, and it's the hometown kids leading the way. Seven of the 15 points were scored by Edmonton natives, and Edmontonian Dylan Gunther leads the Western Hockey League in both points and goals.
Yeah, I think whenever you get the chance to play for Hockey Canada and wear that logo, you wear it with pride, and it's always an honor. So yeah, I can't wait to get down there and compete for a gold medal with this team.
Gunther will begin quarantine on April 12th for the World Under-18 tournament. Although he will miss the remainder of the WHL season, both he and the team know what a great opportunity this is. The Alberta Soccer Association is joining forces with the Vancouver Whitecaps in an effort to identify young talent in Alberta. These elite-level camps will focus on finding young talent all over Alberta and give them a direct link to the pros.
14-17 who is trying to make the jump from elite amateur player into sort of the ranks of the pro pathway. We're providing them that avenue through the pro program, and by the Whitecaps actually funding the entirety of the program in Calgary and Edmonton, it's allowing us to refocus as much of the resources as we can towards sort of coaching development and what we would call grassroots development.
Alfonso Davies went through the Whitecaps development and is now a prominent member of Bayern Munich of the German Bundesliga. They're accepting kids ranging from 14 to 17 years old and will be running the program from October to December and January to March.
Thank you, Brandon. Gotta love seeing the Oil Kings continuing to have a great season.
And I'm excited to see what this partnership brings to Alberta. Caitlin, if you had 3 foods to eat for the rest of your life, what would they be?
I'd have to say bagels, tacos, and probably chocolate.
Those are some interesting choices. For some better options, we take it to Owen Mondays to take you through 3 cheap meal ideas.
And if you're thinking of taking these cheap meals on a picnic, you might want to consider Elk Island as your destination. Benjamin Druin has more on what Elk Island has in store for you this spring.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Now that spring is finally coming around, people are eager to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. If you're one of those people, I think I got just the place. Let's go have a look. Just a half-hour drive east of Edmonton, Elk Island is one of Canada's largest national parks. Canadians have been enjoying the park for over 100 years, having been originally established in 1913 to protect local wildlife. Most notably, Elk Island is home to large numbers of American bison, but it is also host to animals such as moose, elk, bears, and timber wolves. The best way to view these animals is on one of Elk Island's many hiking trails, and no matter your skill level, there's something for everyone. And if hiking isn't your style, there's also an excellent selection of campgrounds for parkgoers to enjoy.
Oh, we got here yesterday afternoon. We just wanted to sit in front of a fire and soak in some rain.
It was so hot when we got here. Oh my goodness. It was so hot when we got here. It was beautiful.
Why couldn't I have done this last night?
It
took me hours to get this fire going last night.
It's because we were using the other wood.
Oh man. Yeah, here we go.
Campgrounds across the park are easily accessible, comfortable, and offer fantastic views of the sprawling landscape. You may just find yourself wanting to stay. And speaking of fantastic views, in addition to being a wildlife sanctuary, Elk Island also acts as a dark sky preserve, making it an excellent place for viewing night stars and northern lights. All of this is just a small taste of what Elk Island has to offer. There's hardly been a better time to get outdoors, so consider making Elk Island your next destination and see for yourself what it has to offer. Ben Druin, 2nd edition.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Owen Monday and today I'm going to be going over 3 foods that are perfect for college students. Foods that are affordable, easy to make, and somewhat good for you. First thing on the list here, we have ramen noodles. Now, ramen noodles are a great food if you are in a hurry or you just really don't know how to cook. Ramen noodles, the nice thing about those ones is that you can put any sauce, any spice, and you can even throw eggs on the top of it if you wanted to. That's the great thing about ramen, is it's a super diverse food. And you know, it might not be healthy off the base, but if you add something like eggs, maybe some vegetables on the side, you can make it something that's really good for you. And the best thing about ramen is that it's super cheap. You can get a flat about this size for not even $20. And as you can see, I've made a pretty big dent in it already. Alright, let's move on to the second. So this next one here is a frozen bowl of food that covers most of the main food groups. It's got vegetables, it's got nuts, it's got meat, and it basically covers all the things that your body needs to, you know, keep running. Now these bowls come in many different brands, but the ones that I have here are Fit Bowls. Now these ones are a little bit more expensive, sitting around $5, maybe $4, $3 when you can find them on sale. And the nice thing about these ones is that they come in so many different kinds. So there's chicken, there's steak, and don't get me wrong, there's different types of chicken and steak too. This one right here I have is chicken and cashew. And then this one is a chicken teriyaki bowl. So as you can see, there's many different types. The best thing about these is how easy they are to make. You pop them right in the microwave for about 5 to 6 minutes and they're done. All you gotta do is let it cool and then you're ready to eat. Now the moment you've all been waiting for, the third food. Now every single meal of the day is not lunch or dinner, so you gotta have some breakfast foods in there, and that's why waffles are a very good choice. These are so easy to make. All you gotta do is pop them in the toaster for a couple minutes and you're good to go. Drizzle some syrup on there and you're solid. Now there might not be much nutritional value with waffles, but that's the great thing about them. They're so simple that you can add almost anything you want to them. And they even put blueberries inside the waffles I got, so there's nothing stopping you from adding some fruit to yours. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Owen Monday with 2nd edition.
Wow, those sure looked good. Now that we're hungry, let's see what's coming up next.
Emma, have you ever watched a cow?
You know what? I can't say that I have.
Well, you really should try it sometime. Our Thomas Wildman takes you through the proper ways to keep your cow clean.
Awesome. Let's send it over to him.
Oh, hello there. My name's Thomas Wildman. I'm part of Nate's 2nd edition. And as well as being an aspiring sports broadcaster, I also live at home and work on my family farm operation, Toa Cattle Company, and I work and show on these lovely Angus animals. So today, I'm going to show you guys how to wash your Angus heifer. Okay, first off, quick disclaimer. This is a heavily well-trained animal. It takes hours upon hours to get an animal to the point where it is safe to safely wash them. All right, before you begin washing your heifer though, you need to use this machine. This is called a blower. And so what a blower does is it sprays out a large amount of air, and you use that to blow out the straw on your heifer, the straw and dust on your heifer before you want to go over to the wash rack. Okay, so now when you're washing the animal, you want to have the water going up towards their head, and you want to get as much water, especially when they're dirty, on their rear here, where that's where the most poop and dirt is going to be. So, and then you just kind of spray it on. Pretty simple. It's like spraying a car, washing a car kind of, to start out. One place you don't want to get water is the ears, especially in the ears. Cows hate that. That's a fast track to getting yourself fooded. Now that you got your animal all nice and wet, what you're going to want to do is grab yourself some soap. Alright, so now we're into the real nitty-gritty part of the job, especially when they're not very clean like this one. You got to grab yourself this kind of brush. It's kind of they call it a scrub brush, and you just got to put some elbow grease in and get off these dirty parts. I'm going to be here for a little bit, so I will come back to you once we've got this leg all nice and clean. Alright, so once you've kind of gotten your heifer all clean, you're then going to need to rinse out your soap. So. Out, and now that we've got her all combed out, now we will take her back over to where the blowers are, and then we'll move into stage 2 of washing a cow. So as you can see here, we now grab the blower again, and now we're just blowing the water out of the hair now to get the cow dry. So that's how you wash your cow. For Second Edition News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
Well, that certainly was a legendary way to end our show.
You know what, Emma? I'm not in the mood for puns right now.
And on that note, I'm Emma Baker.
And I'm Caitlin Poversnick. Be sure to tune in again next week for another episode of Second Edition. Thanks for stopping by.